October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
Hey, yo. You don't have to love me. You don't even have to like me. But you will respect me. You know why? 'Cause I'm a boss. I'm bossy. I'm the first girl to scream on the track. I switched up the beat of the drum. That's right. I brought all the boys to the yard. And that's right. I'm the one that's tattooed on his arm. I'm bossy. I'm the one y'all love to hate. I'm the chick that's raised the stakes. I told young Stunner he should switch to 8. I'm back with an 808, 'cause I'm bossy. Ooh, let me slow it down so you can catch the flow. Screw it up, make it go extra slow. Real girls get down on the floor. On the floor, get down.
Welcome in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And you know, Bossy, at one point, that absolutely was my theme song. I feel it. Happy birthday, Khalees. That milkshake is still shaking. Okay? She could hate you so much right now, but I know you don't hate her. Khalees is one amazing looking woman. And it's her birthday today. So give her all the things, all the flowers. She has left America. She's moved to Africa, Kenya, to be specific. She has a farm. She has AI teaching her children. And she's loving life and living her best life. So happy birthday, Khalees. A shout out to her. You are locked in on this Wednesday with Jill Munroe. No, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Friday Junior, as a matter of fact. It's Thursday. With me, Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And tonight, listen, we have so much to get into. We're breaking down some billion-dollar moves, some billion-dollar messes, and more. Serena Williams is opening up about her health journey and the 31 pounds that she's dropped. If you follow Serena on social media, you noticed a slimmer physique stepping out. And she has revealed that GLP-1 is the reason that she is losing weight, and she wants to normalize it. So we'll get into the details of that. Also, Lil Nas X had folks confused and concerned after video surfaced of him strolling down Ventura Blvd in his underwear, some white cowboy boots, and a traffic cone on top of his head. We're going to get into those details soon enough. And Forbes has dropped their 2025 Black Billionaire list. And yes, Oprah, Rihanna, and Jay-Z are all accounted for. But just wait till you hear who's at the top. So we're going to get into those details along with, we've been talking a lot about artists, music artists specifically, and their battle for their catalog rights, their IP. And, you know, hip hop is celebrating its 52nd year this month. And we have seen a lot of hip hop acts as well as other genres, but hip hop has been coming up quite frequently as artists are wondering or campaigning for or suing for the rights to their music. So we have another old school artist that is getting in the mix of something. And she's calling out Apple Music for erasing her credit. So we'll get into the details of that. But before we get started on all of that, I want to send love and light to the family of Vivian Ayers Allen. She passed away at 102 years old. She is a Pulitzer Prize nominated poet, cultural activist, and the mother of Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad. She was 102. She was born in 1923 in Chester, South Carolina, and became the first African-American student at the University of Houston's Graduate School. She went on to publish Spice of Dons in 1952, which earned her Pulitzer consideration. Sorry, blah tonight. And she founded Adept New American Folk Center, championing literacy, space education, and arts for underserved communities. Beyond her work, she is remembered as a mother whose influence directly shaped two of the most important Black women in entertainment. And, you know, another library gone. So she just recently celebrated her birthday. So I want to send much love and light to her family and, you know, go tap into what made her her. I always like to encourage that because sometimes we give a lot of accolades and props and, you know, shouts to our elders, but we really don't know the depth of what they've done or we haven't touched it ourselves. So go take a look at some of her literary works. When we come forward, we're going to get into Forbes 2025 World's Black Billionaire list. We are also talking Serena Williams and she's jumping in on the weight loss phase. It is a reversal of fortune. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So you know how this goes down. If at any point you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, we're on all social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Hit up your girl. Say hello. We also have an app. Download it. Check out past episodes. All of those good things. Are you guys leaving messages for us? You should do that. We'd love to hear from you if you're too busy to call in. And of course, you know, one of my favorite entities, of course, is the community that we've built in YouTube, our YouTube chat. They're always getting it in. There's usually some interesting conversations that take place in there. So if you're online and you want the visual to go along with this audio experience, of course, that's where you go to check it out. All right. So we talk about Black billionaires. And this is what I have to say. I know people have issue at times with the Forbes list. They believe you can buy your way on. The Forbes numbers aren't exact. They aren't real. They are using public data. So think of it as an approximation, right? But here's the thing. We focus a great deal on entertainers, right? And that's lovely. I love that. Obviously, you know, I do. I work in entertainment. But I also think it is important to look at the other individuals, the ones that you may not have heard of on that list, as well as the type of businesses that they are currently in. That's a path for someone. Maybe not for you. Maybe you can share that information with a youth or a misguided adult, whatever, or, you know, someone that has dreams and ideas, because I know it's a stereotype, but at times, again, I know I'm saying this, but I think we get too locked in sports and entertainment is our way out. And I know that we say there are other ways, but we focus so much on that as a means to obtain wealth, generational wealth, I should say. And there's so many other spaces that we can go and look at and develop. Andy.
But hold on though, Jill. You're in entertainment.
I am.
And you're inspiring me. I'm playing like devil's advocate.
I know. I'm listening.
But how could you say that? And you're in entertainment too. I kind of want to follow your path.
You can, but here's the thing, right? I've been working, like getting a check from entertainment for a very long time, since the 90s, right? And the industry has changed so much. We see what's happening as far as Hollywood and what we think of as Hollywood here in Los Angeles, what it means to produce a show. Where can that take place? And how the industry has opened up and constricted itself at the same time. It's kind of cannibalizing itself. But that's another conversation. The point is, it helps to be diverse. It helps to just gain knowledge. Here's the thing. Maybe you do want to be in entertainment, but there's lots of jobs inside entertainment as well that I think that people don't recognize, right? Every entertainer, every singer, every NFL player, soccer star, whatever, needs an accountant. They do. So you can get your fix of the life and still have something that will translate across any business, right? So, I mean, there's just other things that you can look at. And if your ultimate goal, for example, is to make your way somehow entertainment based or adjacent, you can do that. It happens, like just using that as an example. But I also think that exposure to other things, you never know what you might like. You never know what might spark an interest. You never know what you might have 2 degrees of connection to as opposed to the 6 degrees that we always speak of.
Now, you make a valid point. You know, I used to work in the nonprofit sector or whatnot. So we used to have some dope programs for the youth that we worked with. And I remember sometimes like, sitting around looking at the youth like, man, if I was y'all, I would like take advantage. Like I used to be like this after school program coordinator, basically teaching kids how to do radio. And like, it was kind of hard just to get kids to even be a part of the program. I don't think they saw the value in it or whatnot. I know radio is kind of like different thing for the youth now. You know what I'm saying? I know everything is podcast and YouTube or whatnot, but you know, even outside of that, man, we had tech programs and all this other type of stuff, and I was just like, man, I wish I was exposed to these things as a youth, because I think it definitely would have changed my trajectory. It would have gave me other opportunities, or you know, just other things that maybe I didn't have maybe the foresight, you know what I'm saying, or maybe the interest of, but just being exposed to it, I'm like, maybe this is something else that I like, as opposed to just, you know, sports and music. So, I mean, I think it's important. Exposure is where it's at. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood where some of my peers didn't even know where the beach was, because all they know is their block. So exposure to the youth 100% is key.
I mean, I agree. For anyone, really, we see the effects of people that have never been outside of maybe a 3-mile radius of their home or something like that. We see it, right? So let's get to the list. It's expansive. So number 1 on the list, I'm not going to go over each individual. I'm just going to let you know some of the people that are on there and what they're on there for. First of all, this year's list includes 23 names with a combined $96 billion in net worth, right? And the top American is David Stewart, $11.4 billion. He is the co-founder of Worldwide Technology, and he is the richest Black American. He started his company in 1990. Go look up what he does and how it's transformed. It's telecom. He expanded out. Never heard of him, right? Next up, I've heard of this individual, Robert F. Smith. I believe Tavis Smiley has announced he is going to be in conversation with him soon. I think October. So you guys check that out. He is, of course, a part of Vista Equity Partners. He has some great conversations and interviews that he has had. Go check them out on YouTube. His net worth is $10.8 billion. Also on there, Michael Jordan, $3.5 billion, boosted by the $3 billion sale of the Charlotte Hornets a few years back, right? Oprah's still on there at $3 billion. We know her get down. Jay-Z is on there, 2.5. Rock Nation, Duce, Armor, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his cognac. He got rid of, what was it? Tidal. Shook that off. Dusted that off. And he's rolling. Others on the list include Rihanna, Tyler Perry, Tiger Woods, Magic Johnson. They're on there at $1.4 billion each. LeBron James at 1.3, and Sheila Johnson at $1 billion. So, you know, you got your typical entertainment, sports, the people that we know their paths. But I think it's important to note that the top is somebody, for all intents and purposes, you never heard of, right? Shout out to him. The chat is already going. Roy L. Jenkins says Byron Allen got to be on that list. He may be. Like I said, there's 23 people on the list. I didn't just want to go name them off. Go check out Forbes. The list is there. There are, because it's a world list, I stuck to the top Americans on the list, right? But there are others in other countries, so go check that out. And things might be shifting for Byron Allen. You know, he's selling off some of his stations, probably realigning his media portfolio as we are changing with this streaming environment, trying to figure out like where the carriage fees for cable are going to come from and be replaced, and all of the things that are happening over there. So that's it on that. Okay, so let's get into Serena, right? Today, Serena revealed while on the Today Show that she's been on GLP-1 medication for about a year. So basically, you know, that is your Wegovy's, your Ozempics type medication, right? And if you've been paying attention, Serena seems to have been on a fitness journey these past few months, and she has definitely lost weight, right? So she's lost 31 pounds, and she's partnered with Roe, which is a new company. She's a paid spokesperson. Her husband, Alexis sits on the board of said company. So you understand why she might be sharing. Otherwise, she might have been inclined to keep that private. I don't know. Just saying. But she says it was a really good decision that she had to make for her own life. She's emphasized that how as a woman you go through different cycles. I could never get back to where I needed to be. She, has 2 daughters. Obviously, she is the GOAT. Do we have that conversation about female athletes? Because I kind of think, I don't know who else would be in contention. I know that there's a couple people that you could probably put in contention for it, like maybe Tarazi or something like that. What's the soccer chick? But for me,
she's the GOAT in her sport.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, kind of female athletes.
Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller, I think, is at a disadvantage only because she didn't get to play in the WNBA. That's the only thing. I think that because there was no professional league in her time. We know she coached a little bit, but I remember I asked her at this event one time if she ever looked at the women that are playing currently. This was about maybe 10, 12 years ago. And, thinks how that could have been and should have been her. And she told me, that is me. She was like, I didn't need to be there to know my impact is there. I was like, talk that talk, Cheryl Miller.
Look, as long as the WNBA has existed, I would always hear about how much of the GOAT Cheryl Miller was. What was it, 100 points?
No, that's Lisa Leslie.
Excuse me, Lisa Leslie. But, her, Cheryl Miller and her whole USC
USC,
squad,
yeah. I mean,
the best Miller in the family, as they say.
Facts. Jump shot wet. Reggie Miller said he got his ugly form because he would be trying to shoot over Cheryl and she would be batting his stuff away. So there's that. So anyway, Serena's words as far as her weight loss is, it was a really good decision she had to make for her life. She said as a woman, after having the babies, she couldn't get it back tight. And she says as an athlete, she doesn't take shortcuts. She said the health impact has been immediate, improved blood sugar, lighter joints, better knee health. And she also mentioned how we as Black people, African Americans, have an increased risk of diabetes, which helped play into her choice. And, yeah, Andy.
I love Serena, but
is some cap in that rap?
No.
Okay.
No. There wasn't one thing that I heard her talk about, regarding her diet. I get, you might be exercising or working out.
She talked about her diet. She said that she has tried veganism at one point. She was a vegetarian at another point, but it just, didn't hold it together. It didn't work for her. So, that's why she mentioned having 2 children. A woman's body goes through different things, right? And she said she just wanted to look deeper. And, yeah.
I mean, she was already thick, so I can imagine having 2 kids, how that could, change everything and whatnot.
Her youngest daughter is only 2. So that's not, Serena's in her 40s, yeah, right? And so
what's crazy is she just performed at the Super Bowl, right?
That was
last year.
January. February of this year, yeah.
I mean, she looked amazing.
But she, obviously, the look she is going for is a much more svelte silhouette. She might be tired of being thicky.
I just hope that, she's healthy through this whole process. I see how much she's advocating for it and the benefits and all that. We'll just see.
We will see. I send Serena nothing but love and good thoughts. And there's been quite a few people that have come out and spoke about utilizing that type of assistance. And look, if it makes you feel better and you are healthy, I'm all for it, right? Do what you need to do to feel good, girl. Shout out to Serena. Okay, so listen, we're going to get into this and then we'll continue it when we come forward. You remember Monie Love back in the day? She was part of the Native Tongues, you know, this Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, De La Soul. She had that song Monie in the Middle. And she and Latifah had the, you know, I believe it was a hit on the mainstream charts when I'm saying that. No, it was a rap hit. Ladies First, right? Well, Monie recently discovered that Apple Music has credited someone else for her contribution to the Ladies First single. And she's mad about it. She said that it was her daughter that spotted the mistake. And, you know, missing credits means missing royalties. And we know how hard it is for music artists to get their checks, get their points, get to the point where they're not recouping still to the label to get some of those dollars. But, you know, writer's credits, those are outside of that as a performer. So we'll get into the details of that story when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I told young Stunner he should switch to 8. I'm back with an 808, cause I'm bossy. Ooh, I bet you never heard it like this before. Me and my baby be closing the phantom doors. Bar popping this that you can't afford. Ooh, I'm choking, lost in the clouds, it's all smoking. All the while I'm all open. Me and my girls, we stay fly and they love to stay high. Ooh, from the 6'4" hoppers up in Crenshaw to the money making players up in Harlem.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind the scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former Vice President Kamala Harris is launching a 15-city international tour for her memoir, 107 Days, out September 23rd. The tour begins in New York, includes U.S. stops, heads to London, and wraps in Miami in November. The book details her 2024 presidential run after Biden exited the race. Rapper Lil Nas X is receiving treatment after being hospitalized in Los Angeles Thursday morning. Witnesses say he was seen walking in the middle of a busy street wearing only underwear and cowboy boots, leading some to call police about a possible overdose. TMZ reports officers say he could still face charges. And a new political poll shows California Governor Gavin Newsom leading former Vice President Kamala Harris by 6 points in the 2028 Democratic primary race. Analysts say his strong opposition to Trump may be driving support. Harris still resonates with voters but faces questions about her viability. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
East LA, South 710, delays from the 60s. You continue ahead towards Firestone Boulevard. And we're also looking at the 91 in Carson, eastbound slowing from Avalon and stretches to the 605. Tough on the 605 northbound out of Norwalk, leaving the 105 freeway. Very crowded ahead to the 10. And southbound slowing out of Pico Rivera, leaving Rose Hills as you continue back towards the 5.
This season, San Diego is playing at home, and you are on the roster. Don't miss the Padres, Wave FC, San Diego FC, and the Blue Angels at the Miramar Air Show. Plan your trip now at sandiego.org/awesome all year. Funded in part with City of San Diego Tourism Marketing District Assessment Funds.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Tickets are on sale for the Las Vegas HBCU Classic between Grambling and Jackson State. It's the first ever HBCU football game in Vegas. The game is Saturday, October 25th at Allegiant Stadium, home of the NFL Las Vegas Raiders. 3 p.m. kickoff. Tickets are available on Ticketmaster or the Allegiant Stadium website. There will be at least 7 African Americans competing in this year's U.S. Open Tennis Tournament in New York City. 5 women and 2 men. The tournament kicks off on Sunday. On the women's side, Coco Gauff, the number 3 player in the world, Venus Williams, Madison Keys, Taylor Townsend, and Sakia Vickery. In the men's bracket, Ben Shelton, ranked number 6 in the world, and Francis Tiafoe. 2 NFL preseason games on the schedule today. Pittsburgh at Carolina on the NFL Network, and New England at the New York Giants on Prime Video. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Monie Love. That was her first single, Monie in the Middle. That late 80s. I feel like Monie's vibe a little bit, not one-to-one, a little bit, y'all don't kill me, a little bit felt like a precursor to Left Eye. That's what it felt like to me, a little bit. Even a little bit of her style, aesthetically, I'm saying. But shout out to Monie Love. So essentially, her daughter was perusing iTunes, and she came across the fact that Ladies First, which was a duet with Queen Latifah and Monie, it's attributed as being written, Monie wrote her verse, to a white man who shares a similar name to her, right? So obviously, missing credits equals missing royalties and erased legacy. We talk a lot about legacy, right? And she is in the process, I guess, of correcting that. Someone in the chat joked like, yeah, she's missing out on those 2 cents checks. But here's the thing. Listen, 2 cents begets 10 cents begets 12,000, you know, etc., etc. I want all my coins. Let me not act like I don't. Let me not act like I am tossing to the side, you know, whatever that check is. If my check is supposed to be $2.50, send me my $2.50, please. But bigger than that, it is about legacy, small things. Who wrote the song? That should be a basic thing we want to get right. And what it looks like to me is that the person they credited, I think it was like, let's say it was Simon Johnson, and her name is Simone. So it was something small like that. But however, I don't know how that works on the back end. Is Simon somewhere? Are there checks mounting up for that individual based off of the streaming numbers? Who knows? But give me my coins. It just kind of highlights a larger industry problem that I've talked about. Obviously, we know about the UMG suit with Salt and Pepper. 35 years since that first album dropped. And in the contract, it is supposed to be the copyright for those type of products, your albums, supposed to revert back to you after 35 years. The problem is the label is saying they signed a deal with Hervey Lovebug and that those rights do not extend to them. That label obviously no longer exists. I wonder why Herbie's not stepping it in and clearing that up. We know he and Salt used to date back in the day, so I don't know if that has something to do with his lack of involvement. We also know Angie Stone raised some concerns about some of her old hits and music before she passed away. De La Soul, you know, it took a very long time for De La Soul's music to make it onto streaming because of the way the situation was set up with Tommy Boy. And they are were in a fight with Spotify to correct the metadata, which again goes to credits. And Snoop and Scarface have both talked about, or complained, I should say, about the pennies per stream economics of this current era. You know, back in the day, a Timbaland track, a Neptune's track, it's like $2.50 a pop, right? Scarface said during his Shannon Sharp interview on Club Shay Shay, you could get a beat for $200 nowadays. And you can, because the total product is not as valued as it once was. But regardless of that, even R. Kelly in jail was asking who's getting his residuals. So clearly, this is a reoccurring theme. We know the music business rule 10, what is it? Record business rule number 10,080. Record company people are shady. Yeah, we know that. But at some point, it's got to be cleaned up, especially what music is as a commodity currently. You know, the way catalogs are being sold and popped off. I mentioned how much hip hop is featured in commercials now. You know, kind of like when, for me as a Gen Xer growing up, how I used to hear a lot of the 60s and 50s music. It's now that way with hip hop of the 90s, late 80s, and sort of that music. So be curious to see what's going on. It's not just about ego, in my opinion. Credit equals checks. and legacy. And, after 35 years, masters should revert to the artist, as was standard operating practice for the most part. And streaming platforms are rewriting history inadvertently. So we'll have to keep our eyes and see how that goes. We have a caller on the line, JW from South Central LA. Welcome in. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fair considering. Yeah, I'll make it quick. This is just food for thought in reference to comments you were speaking on with Serena losing weight.
Uh-oh, did we lose you? Okay. Well, let me say this. I think it is important to note while we're looking at Serena, like, girl, you were fine. Thick stallion Serena. People were not kind to Serena over the years, right? I think about the same thing with Tiny from Escape. People do not care. There's no tact to the type of attacks people throw, right? Come on now. Everybody calls Tiny unattractive, right? And a lot of people, Serena, there was a point in time where people were not nice to Serena. They were not kind about, yes, even us black people.
She was on there, not she was on there, but were people talking about her the way Ari Lennox receives entertainment? Because I'm over here thinking like,
yeah, a little
Serena
bit.
was beloved. I felt like
she was
all the
beloved,
homies was on her. Like,
but no, Serena took some hits, and probably some personal ones. Yeah. So to me, it is also not lost that appearance is important to her. Think about how everyone has kind of, when she was going through her different things, people have talked about Serena's makeup, her wigs, her eyebrows, everything, despite what she was doing in setting history. That's what it is. Did you have something to add, Andy, before we get back to JW? Okay. JW back in. Continue with your thoughts on Serena.
Yes, food for thought. This is just a word of caution. I'm going to connect the dots. Pardon me using Taylor Smiley's expression all the time, but I had that in mind, and when he started saying it, I said that was peculiar. But here's the point. I recall my cousin, when she gave birth to her child, it was at Cedars-Sinai Hospital near Beverly Hills. The point is this. She tried everything in her power to get back in shape. I mean, she even had me walk on the sand dunes and everything, because I had ran a marathon. I survived with a cycling club, rode a bike 100 miles in one day, all the above, played tennis, etc. The point is, she never could get back in shape physically. And like Serena said, she wanted to do things, in an athletic manner, and not take shortcuts. But she decided to take this pill. My point is this. I recall different topics about how black women try to give birth. The baby might die, or the mama might die, or both. And I heard another subject matter, how black women are equated to black men being killed by cops, but it's the doctors because of systemic racism. This is the word of caution that I'm going to conclude with. They have been studying our bodies for years, as well as society, human beings in general. I've seen several documentaries about how they study different cultures. So I know this is true. In fact, these pharmaceutical companies could have produced something that they would give chemically during the process of giving birth, where it's hard for black women to bounce back to their original shape. And now it's on this pill to help you lose weight. And you have to think back in history, and I'm conclude with this, like I stated. The old-fashioned weight loss pills had a lot of speed in it, or something that was unhealthy for you, just like cigarettes had, tobacco had cancer and caused cancer, and he knew about it. So that's it. This is food for thought, word of caution. And Lil Nas X being in his underwear doing whatever with drugs, I put all that together as well because I had something similar happen to me in terms of someone I've been mentoring for years. He broke into my home, and I know he was under influence. As simple as that. Pills. Okay? That's it.
Thank you for your call, JW. We appreciate it. Listen, when we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, seems like everybody wants to talk about Lil Nas X. So let's get to it. Listen, he's facing legal trouble after a 4 a.m. incident took place. Yeah, just like 14, 15 hours ago. There's video of it. He was walking down Ventura Boulevard here in the Valley in L.A., right? White boots, white cowboy boots, tighty whities, at various points an orange cone on his head. And he was asking if they were going to the party. Don't be late, babe. And he hit that stroll. The model walk was killer. I do have to say that. But something was clearly going on, right? And so hours later, he was hospitalized for a possible overdose. And now it looks as if he was also booked for battery on a peace officer, I guess, when they tried to gather him up and see what was going on with him. So this is all according to TMZ, right? He's currently in custody at Van Nuys Jail for a misdemeanor, but he's being held without bail, which I find interesting. So, listen, I feel as though this is the second or third time that we've had some type of episode or outbreak involving him. I could be wrong, but I feel like something has happened before. The thing that makes it difficult is that he can be a troll, right? That was one of his favorite things to do. So some were speculating that they thought it was like, maybe he's going to be dropping a single. It was some type of stunt, but now he's behind bars. So in our social media era where attention is currency, right? And we've seen some crazy stunts and shows. Do we think something is going on with him? We are seeing signs of fame cracking a lot of people. Andy?
The man needs Jesus.
Well, there it is right there.
I mean, you can't be twerking on the devil and just thinking everything's going to be all good.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. Listen, I'm here for artistic expression and artistic freedom. It just did not work for me personally.
Come on now.
You do what you want.
You talking about a troll, and you want to troll on that level?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you're a spiritual individual, put your spiritual thinking cap on, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I give a lot of credence to potentially there's some spiritual stuff going on with that man.
All right. Well, we have a caller on the line that wants to get into this. Eric from Carson. Eric, what are your thoughts on Lil Nas X?
Hey, what's up, Jill?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not a fan, but I'm not opposed either. I'll just say that, and this is just an opinion, I don't think Lil Nas X has any real talent. I think he had a song that blew up and took him to stardom. And I don't think that he really cultivated his craft. I don't think he really understands what stardom is about because he got too much too soon. He's a one-hit wonder, in my opinion. So I feel like his behavior is all based on the fact that he does not know how to handle his fame, and it's serious now.
I mean, I think that there's some credence to that. I also think that in this current era, not a lot of people are necessarily artists. Just they might rap, they might put out a song, but the craft is not the same as it was, let's say, 20 years ago or so. It's part of a hustle. It's all a hustle. I'm going to slang this product. I'm going to put out this single. I got a podcast, liquor line, whatever. I'm a social media influencer too. Whatever is going to bring in a check. DJ Black 909 in the chat, he agrees with you, Andy. He says, Lil Nas X is what happens when you mock God and play with Satanism. Actions have consequences. Fahima Sex says, the embarrassment should have been enough punishment for him. Let him free. I don't know about that. I mean, because he was walking in the middle of the street at 4 a.m. If he was high, that's dangerous. You're a danger to yourself at that point as well. And sometimes you need to sit down and be hit with a bit of shame to make you recognize the situation that you're going through. So we'll have to see. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No.
Do you think I was thinking, why wouldn't they have put him on a 5150 hold? And I wonder, if they're going to say there's no bail.
He might be, because there is no bail. So that might be why they might be awaiting an evaluation for that process to take place. So we'll have to see. Thank you as always for your call, Eric. We appreciate you. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you. So Morris Phillips in the chat says family intervention, and he also has put in there 3 times because he really wants me to let you guys know and let me know that brothers love Serena. I'm not saying they didn't. They absolutely did. But let me be clear and honest, and I believe Serena has alluded to it as well. There was a segment of individuals, and I'm not just talking about the Caucasian ones, that were not nice to Serena based on her appearance. That's just what it was. Because people say all types of things, do all types of things. And unfortunately, sometimes, for that is the stuff that darker skinned women talk about, You aren't going to be attractive to everybody, but some of the stuff that they were saying was just outright disrespectful and unnecessary. And I feel the same way, even though Tiny is light-skinned. Like, she could not be your cup of tea, but she's T.I.'s shot of Henny. And he loves his wife down, right? So I just think everybody has an opinion, but sometimes I wonder why people go so hard to be so mean. But anyway, listen, we got into a lot of things tonight, as always. And, tomorrow's Friday. And guess what? If you tune in tomorrow, I absolutely have another pair of tickets to give away, but for a different show. I'll let you know which show when you tap in tomorrow, 6 p.m. Coming up next, the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. I'll talk to you guys later.
And this one is for the champion. Ain't lost since I began. Funny how you said it was the yeah. Then I went did it again. I told you long ago on the road, I got what they waiting for. Don't run from nothing, dog. Get your soul. Just tell them ain't laying low. You was never really rooting for me anyway. When I'm back up at the top, I wanna hear you say, you don't run from nothing, dog. Get your soul. The break is over. Need a couple number ones. Need a pack on every song. Need me like one with Nicky now. Tell her I don't see her.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is set to be arraigned September 10th on federal wire fraud and obstruction charges. Former Security Chief Jeffrey Vappy will also face arraignment with court records citing their secret affair as the basis of the case. Art made from rapper Snoop Dogg's leftover blunts is selling out for up to $70,000. Artist Erica Kovic's Ashes to Art collection, created with Snoop's used wraps, debuted August 15th and quickly sold all 7 pieces. And Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore is inviting President Trump to Baltimore after sharp remarks during the Pimlico racecourse demolition. Moore challenged Trump in his speech,